just let it run from now. Okay, so we're about to enter into the 53rd. In fact, this is the eve. This is the eve, since the Hebrew calendar, keeping the Sabbath, is evening. The evening of the day precedes the day, according to the Hebrew, according to the calculation of Hebrew time. That's why the Friday evening is the beginning of the Senbet. And we learn that from the Hebraic Ethiopians, and even from the habit of Negus and Neges Ethiopia, the habit of Kedemawi Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie is and was a Sabbath keeper. This is very important for us to understand, that Haile Selassie kept the Sabbath, and we have a proof from our brother Wentworth Arthur Matthews, called Rebbe or Rabbi Matthews. You understand? Rabbi Wentworth Arthur Matthews, the Commandment Keepers Society. That's the brother who, let's see if we can show you. That's the brother right here. You understand? Some of our Hebrew, African American Hebrew elders, their works and their writings are very vital for us to have as archives for our children. But anyway, we're going to touch on all of these things, hopefully y'all willing, in other teachings. Right here we want to touch on the Senbet, the 52nd. We're in the 52nd Senbet. We just want to remind ones and ones on keeping the Sabbath, that the Sabbath begins on the evening in the morning, and according to the Hebrew calendar, according to the Hebrew calculation of time, the evening precedes the day. So most people look at Saturday, say, okay, tomorrow's Saturday, but it's Friday right now. And as we're heading into the Friday evening, this is the afternoon of September 3rd, 2010, and we want to begin going over the 52nd Orit or Torah reading, which is called Museym Hedo or Wayelek, Museym Hedo. Now, the interesting thing that we've tried to get ourselves accustomed to, and this is all, for us, many of us, a new process, studying the Sabbath reading, the Sabbatical readings, not just reading them and studying them and delighting ourselves in them on the Senbet day, but also throughout the week, because when you look at the full reading of the Senbet, the Sabbath readings, we have three different sets of readings, such as for the 52nd Sabbath, as we're going into the new year, around between the 11th officially for the Ethiopian New Year. The New Year is coming up, but for the so-called Hebrew, or for our Hebrew, according to lunar calculation, it's the 8th of September. So we should begin this off Wayelek, which is 31 and 1 to 31 and 30. You know what's that? This is a unique reading. This is a unique Sabbath as we're coming to the end of the year and the end of a particular cycle. This is a cycle. We're about to go into a new cycle. So what's very good is that those who are following along with these teachings of His Imperial Majesty and the Sabbath teaching, which we have a downloadable PDF chart, which you will see basically this that we have in front of us right now, and the three columns are respectively the Orit, the Torah, or the 5 books of Moses. Secondly, it's the Haftorah, or the prophetical, which is Isaiah 55. And then thirdly is the Hadith Kidan, or the Burit Hadasha, which is the New Covenant, or the New Testament, or what ones will say is the Gospels and Epistles of the New Testament. So this particular Sabbath reading, we've already gone through it and studied it, but we're recording now the official, as we have kind of vowed that we would, to seek to go through a whole cycle, a whole udet whole cycle, and the cycle is also astro-theological. There's astro-theological dimensions connected with this cycle of the heavens, the lunar, and the solar, which are the signs from the very beginning that Yahweh Eloheinu, He gives to us. He opens to really keep proper time, to stay in time, to recognize what the sign of the times are. So we need to get a better understanding or overstanding of the so-called astrology of, not from a worship like we worship any of these stars, hosts of heaven. That's one thing that a lot of fools are going to say. You know what I'm saying? But from the point of view of what the scripture is telling us, and the point of view of the true practice of our true Ibrawiyan or Hebrew or Hebrew way of life. So it begins off and it says, and Moses, verse 1 of chapter 31, and Moses went and spake these words to all Israel. This is Moses' last counsel to the priests, his last counsel to Levite and to Joshua. And from our brief study, there's three main, three main parts, but it begins off on the song of Musa, the song of Moses. So this is the third, and we're going through this particular week coming up. The 8th is when the Hebrews and the so-called Jews say is the new year, which is lunar, on a lunar calculation, correct, but we are going to observe this New Year's time actually on September 11th in the fullness of our Ethiopic-Hebrew covenant. But we want to teach and show the solely lunar relationship of this, which is also embedded within our Ethiopian Penakot. So there's three main sections. The first one is Yasu ben Musa Igar Metakat. This is the section we're about to read right now from verses 1 to 8. Then you have Higun Leman Bebat Izaz Sila Meset Etu, the giving of the commandment to read this particular law. There's a commandment that we should read this particular law. In verses 9 to 13, then we have Yisrael Ale Metazez Askedmo Sila Negaru, that Israel's disobedience from before the time, previous to the time, prior to the time, prophetically was already shown what our ancestors and what all of us as the called Israel, as the once lost but now found Beta Israel, the Ethiopian Hebrews elect Rastafari, our ancestors' disobedience, and this disobedience that we have gained or has been passed on to us as a sort of an inheritance of that curse until we get ourselves in the proper alignment and obedience with the King of Kings and His Christ. So verses 14 to 29 shows Israel Alamentazes Askedmo Selemenegaru, or the prophecy, previous prophecy, the foretelling of Israel's disobedience. Then the last part of sorts is Yemuse Mezmur, or the beginning of that is cited at verse 30 of chapter 31. So let's take this verse from verses 1 to 8. And Musa went and spake these words to all Israel, and he said to them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. Also Yahweh hath said to me, Thou shalt not go over this Jordanos. Thou shalt not go over this Jordan. And Yahweh Eloheka, He will go over before thee, and He will destroy these nations from before thee, and thou shalt possess them. And Yehoshua, or Joshua, Iyasu, he shall go over before thee, as Yahweh hath said. So it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. You need to check out another teaching that we have completed, and it's called, let's get the name, the Sabbath 2012, 120 years of Genesis and Moses and the Abba Qiddus 120-year prophecy, all connected and based on this area of scripture. Very interesting, the 120 years and the Sabbath 2012. So we go into this a little bit more from this particular verse here, this 120 years, as Abba Qiddus would be 120 years out of Selassie in 2012 on that Sabbath, December 21st, 2012. But anyway, get that teaching and you'll hear more on that. So really, Iyasu was not to go before the king, but Iyasu or Yehoshua comes actually after the king, according to that particular prophecy, as we go into that a little bit more in the Sabbath 2012 teaching. But to move forward on this, for this Sabbath, Senbet Day, the 52nd Senbet Day, and it says, and Yahweh shall do to, verse 4, and Yahweh shall do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og, king of the Amorites, and to the land of them whom he destroyed. And Yahweh shall give them up before your face,